Business English Idioms with Dylan from British English Coach. And this idiom is to be fired. And unfortunately, it's a very common, but it's not a very pleasant idiom. So here's the example sentence. He had too many arguments with his line manager, so it was no great surprise that he was fired. So if you are fired, what happens? Do you lose your job because of something you did? Do you lose your job because the company can't afford to pay you? Or are you transferred to another department because of personal issues? Let's have a look at the sentence again. He had too many arguments with his line manager. It was no great surprise that he was fired. What do you think? A, B, or C? And the correct answer is A. If you're fired, you lose your job because of something you did. Maybe you're often late for work. Maybe you have too many arguments with your manager or other members of staff. Maybe you don't do your job very well. You're incompetent in your job. Maybe you make a big mistake and cost the company a lot of money. Or maybe you do something illegal and you're fired as opposed to actually being taken to court. Now, in British English, we often use the phrase to be given the sack. Okay, a sack is a large bag, as you know. So I think the idea is that they give you a sack, you put all your possessions which you have in your office in the sack, in the bag, and then you leave. So it's quite common to be sacked in British English as opposed to be fired. Okay, but remember, if you're sacked or fired, the responsibility lies with you. You did something wrong, or you were perceived to have done something wrong. Okay. So here are a couple of questions. I'm sorry to ask you the first one, but have you ever been fired from a job? I have. When I was 16 or 17, I worked for a shoe shop for 3 Saturdays, and I was fired because I just wasn't very good at the job, and I didn't really understand what you needed to do to be able to fit people for new shoes. And after 3 weeks, the manager said, "We're sorry, here's your payment. We don't want you to come back next week." So I was fired at a very young age. And what are the main reasons why employees are fired? Okay, now there may be legitimate, good reasons, or reasons which aren't so legitimate, which really are reasons the company says are legitimate, but actually it's their way of either saving money or making a change, or because they think that you are someone maybe who has a negative impact on the way they want to run the company. Maybe you're a challenge for them. Okay, so a couple of questions for you. Is this sentence correct? She fired from her last job for failing to meet her sales targets in the last quarter. She missed a few days due to illness, so I don't think she was treated fairly. Is that correct or incorrect? And the answer is, it's incorrect. It should be, she got or she was fired from her last job for failing to meet her sales target in the last quarter. She missed a few days due to illness, so I don't think she was treated fairly. So this is probably not a legitimate reason to fire someone. A couple of things. Quarter is a 3-month period. So it's quarter of a year, 25% of a year. And there is a slight mistake in the text here. It should be, she was fired from her last job, not here. My apologies for the typo, the small mistake. Okay, so I hope you're never fired from a job, and I will see you in the next Business English Idiom. Bye for now.